Coming up today on Retire Right. If you're nearing retirement, you'll want to listen closely to today's show. We'll be going through what we call the Big Five. These are 5 key elements identified by financial professionals that you may want to consider when it comes to planning for your ideal retirement. As we go through the list today, ask yourself, how many do you feel solid on? Retire Right starts right now.
Retirement is more than a destination. It's a journey that starts with a dream, a vision for the way you want to live, recharge, and give back. To get there, you need a plan to reach your retirement goals. Clifton Ross with Guardian Resources has the strategies you need to plan for income, taxes, healthcare, and more. For years, Clifton has been helping families plan for a successful retirement. Welcome to Retire Right with Clifton Ross.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kelly Dame here with Clifton Ross, financial advisor and president of Guardian Resources. The Big Five is our topic for today's show. There are, so many things. We talk about how it can be just a little overwhelming, right, when it comes to retirement, but not every part of your retirement strategy is created equally. Today, we encourage you to start with the Big Five. These areas are some that professionals claim are a must when it comes to planning for your retirement.
That's true.
A little bit bite-sized, right?
That's exactly right.
Clifton, as always, great to be here with you.
It's great to be here with you, as always, Kelly.
So let's dive in here to the Big Five. What is the first one that we want to consider? Again, this is all really just to try to make it a bit more bite-sized.
Yeah. Well, I think it's nice to take it and break it into these pieces because retirement can be a big thing. And it's something we've been looking forward to for years and years and years. And we've got a lot of years that we can spend in retirement today, now that we're living longer. So the thought of, well, how all do I need to put all that together again? It's best to break it down into these steps. And that's why we kind of broke it down into 5 for the audience today. So step 1 is really what we talked about earlier on, is just that inventory. It's getting an assessment of everything you have. It's like going on a trip or going on a hike where you're going to bring a flashlight. You're going to bring boots. You're going to bring, whatever you need maybe for the rain. So it's really just getting a sense of what all do I have. And I know that might sound easier to some than others because some people, in our experience, God bless them, they're just really not that organized sometimes, right? And they feel like, oh, if I don't have everything in one place, or if I don't have anything, things labeled or spreadsheets, but you don't have to have that. You don't have to be like that necessarily to be able to put all this stuff together. There's some people who come to our office and honest to goodness, they have just a banker's box, right? Or shoe box. And they go, this is just all the stuff. So please help me figure out, what it all means. But then you have those, I met with someone just last week and he had like 15 spreadsheets and cells that spoke to other cells. And he calculated his income in 2035. But yet, whether you're highly organized or you're one that just says, hey, I think I got it all in some box somewhere. The key is to just kind of understand what is it that you have. And you might actually need someone to help you sort through that stuff too, because we have no problem getting in those boxes and helping people kind of put some of that stuff in perspective.
You know at home which camp you fall into, right? And I'm so glad that you mentioned that because my follow-up question to you is going to be, do you have to bring in thinking about all the gear with camping, right? Do you have to bring all these statements? Spreadsheets does not speak my language, but that's great to know. It's different for everybody. Right. And I know also you guys are there to kind of walk them through what they may need to bring in and what you can leave at home. Let's get into this second item to consider as we get into the Big Five.
The second item, and it might seem obvious to some because the pillar of retirement is Social Security. By and large, it is the main source of income for those of us going into retirement. And so it's really understanding what are our Social Security options. We can take it as early as 62. You can wait till full retirement age, or you can defer all the way to age 70, which is equivalent of almost 8% per year of accumulation. But just because we can wait that long doesn't mean that we should. So how will Social Security fit in to your individual plan? It's important to really kind of assess that and know what it means. And if you have a spouse or a partner, the decision you make and the time you claim could impact the survivor benefit. So big decision, but it's important to make that Social Security part of the overall equation.
Okay. I know if you're counting at home, we've gone through 2. I'd love to get through one more before we head to break. So This one is a little bit more niche, if you will, but what is that third of the big five that we want to think about for retirement?
Well, the third of the big five is the pension. And I know you said niche because it is certainly, we don't see as many of those today as we would have seen years past, but the people that still do have pensions, they're government workers or those that even work in industry that still have pensions. And when you do have it, you can always tell the people who do, always say, because they have a half smile on their face all the time, because a big part of their income might be satisfied with the pension. But if you do have a pension, there are very important decisions to be made relative to that, because you have a pension opportunity that might give you an income for the rest of your life. But in some, you can actually take that in a lump sum. And the decision that you make is largely kind of permanent. So that's why it's important to know which of those decisions you make. And then if you have a spouse, there may be survivor benefits on that pension. And so if one, as an example, elected to have that survivor get 100% of the benefit if they were to pass away, there's maybe a reduced amount to that pension. But if they decide to maybe have a reduced amount go to the survivor, then there's a higher amount to that pension. So a lot of it has to do with cash flow, what are the needs, and then keep in mind too that there's some risks in everything you do. There's pros and cons. And if I do elect to take that pension, as long as I'm alive, I have that pension, and there may be spousal benefits. But if some reason we were to both pass away, there's no really beneficiary designation on that. So some elect to actually take that in a lump sum. But now there's no guaranteed income on that. It's going to be up to you to create some income. And that's where sometimes the advice from us helps to kind of determine what that is. But at least you could have a beneficiary on there. And you might be able to invest that well, and it stays within your family. So if something were to happen to you or maybe a spouse, those benefits then transition to your next generation.
And thinking about all of these items or these important components of retirement, when people come in, do you guys have a checklist or something that you go through with them, something tangible for them to see, okay, I've got this, I don't, or how does that work in your office?
Good question, Kelly. And I would say absolutely. Checklists are helpful.
Yeah,
Checklists are
so
beneficial,
too, yeah.
right? You know exactly what you need, and you know if you've missed something. My brother's a pilot with American Airlines.
Oh, checklists are big.
Checklists are very, very important for what he does. And so a checklist is really helpful so that people understand what is it that they have, and then what is it that they don't have. And it's helpful to know that clearly before you get too far down along the way. And you can start learning what can you do to fill in some of those other boxes. Or you might feel like, you know what, I think I've checked most of those boxes. I might feel pretty confident in retirement.
Yeah, well, if you've got your own checklist at home, again, we've gone through 3 of the big 5. Now, coming up next, we'll reveal the final 2 key aspects of the big 5. So be sure to stick around for that. And later, Clifton is in the hot seat. It's a cold seat right now. It's going to be hot for Retirement IQ. Here we go. That's coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Clifton Ross, financial advisor and president of Guardian Resources. And we're telling you all about the big 5. So Clifton, and of course, in retirement, we've covered the first 3, right? So those are financial inventory, Social Security, and understanding pension choices, if you're lucky enough to have one. So let's get into the final 2 aspects. Where are we at with number 4 of the big 5, Clifton?
All right, well, so we're going through the list. And when we get to now number 4, it is expect the unexpected. Now, we're going into retirement, and as we said earlier, that these should be years that we're looking forward to. These should be exciting years. You get to do the things that maybe you've put off for a long time. You get to kind of maybe put yourself first and do things that you value more than anything else. And by and large, we hope that for you. But at the same time, we just know we've lived long enough that things happen that are unexpected. Some good things are unexpected. Some unpleasant things are unexpected. So when you're doing a retirement plan, we don't want to be overly optimistic, assuming that things will just go just in one way the whole time. So you want to actually expect some of the unexpected and plan for that ahead of time. What are some of the things we might want to plan for ahead of time? We might plan for market corrections. Markets go up, but then markets go down. And when markets go down, obviously we can lose some value, and it takes time to recover from some of those inevitable losses. Well, the older we are, the longer it takes to recover from setbacks, right? We're living in our maybe income years and distribution years, and so downturns affects us. So how do we make sure that we've built in some resistance to market corrections? You've got inflation. We know that we have the erosion of our spending power over time. And so how do we factor that in? And then we've had a few segments where we talked about the healthcare issue. We want to live long, prosperous, healthy lives. And I think we can do that maybe more so than any other time in history. But there still are some risks as we get older, living these long lifetimes, that there could be health challenges that we just have to navigate. And you know what? The more prepared we are, the more that we've talked about the possibility of that, even though we hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, we've at least prepared for the possibility and we can navigate that a little bit better. So the bottom line is that whatever picture you have for yourself, it can just look somewhat different from what you had set out for it to be, maybe even better than what you had ever imagined. And then there's challenges, but the challenges are okay if we've been proactive about making sure we've got a good plan, that we've made adjustment for those things that could possibly happen, so that we maintain our confidence.
It's great to be optimistic, but also it's a little dose of that reality too, right? Sure. And expecting the unexpected. Now, we've got one more to talk about. So what is the final element of the Big Five?
Well, the final element is, I would call, it's almost like if you're making a cake and you put all these pieces together, right? All your spices and ingredients, and then you put them all together. Now it's time to put it in the oven, right? And so same thing as relates to retirement, is that you have all these pieces, but now it's really time for execution. How do these pieces start working together? When can I retire from my job based on what cash flow I have, my longevity, and my sources of income? When should I take Social Security? Should I take it at 62? Should I take it at full retirement age? Or should I defer to age 70? If I have a spouse, maybe we stagger that, where maybe one of the individuals takes it at full retirement age and the other take it at 70? And which one should do that? If I have a pension, have I decided to do a lump sum and just, I'm going to be responsible for this? Or will I just enjoy the income that might be provided through the program? So it's now just the execution, putting all these ingredients together, and then just making sure there's a plan where it all works for your benefit.
And we want that to be a sweet and delicious cake once it comes out of the oven.
I'm getting hungry talking about it.
I know. I think we need to get one of those on set here. Now, I do want to talk a little bit, again, the whole purpose of talking about the Big Five today is really to make sure that we can bring those bite-sized pieces to you when things can feel overwhelming. And one of the things I love is just thinking about your firm and the team that's there as well with Guardian Resources as those to guide. It's in the name, right? Tell me a little bit about, Guardian Resources and the importance of the work that you do.
Yeah, you bet. Kelly, we love taking people on this journey. We actually developed a system called Retire Right Roadmap. And it's where we actually create a checklist, and we start with, what is your risk and what does that look like going into retirement? How do we make sure that you don't lose disproportionately when there's market downturns? Estate planning is an important piece. We talked about that earlier, where this is where you protect your legacy for future generations. The RET, the tax, that's making sure that we have informed you and given you the guidance necessary to minimize taxes in the long term so that you don't pay taxes unnecessarily. And then the I is for income. The number one concern that retirees have is outliving their income. So what income strategies are there to make sure that you maintain confidence in your retirement, that your income is going to last your lifetime? And then RETIR is for resources, that there's resources that are available to us. We just have to know what they are and how they work. And then education is always just knowing what is it that you need to know as things change. And so we're very committed to a continual process of ongoing education to make sure that that individuals know what they need to know as times change to just keep their retirement on track.
And I would say we're on this show covering all of them. And then especially as I think about resources, you being a great resource to those who are watching, as well as educating a little bit. But I hope to now maybe educate you coming up next, because straight ahead, you're in the hot seat for the Retirement IQ. And later, what are some simple, actionable steps you can take to improve your financial future today? Clifton has your checklist challenge. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wonder later. Call for your free analysis today.
It is now time to put our knowledge to the test. I've got the cards. It is time for the Retirement IQ. Answers are on here.
All right.
Are you ready?
As I'll ever be. I think I'm like 90% so far on these.
Yeah, you know, we had a hiccup maybe in the history of this show, so I think that we're going to be 4 for 4 today. Knock on wood. True, false. According to the Employee Benefits Research Institute, less than 50% of retirees said they have 3 months of emergency savings.
I hope that's not true, because that's probably not a whole lot of money. If we don't have that much, I think we probably have some problems. So no,
Work to do.
I think it's better than that.
Okay, well, your streak so far, 1 for 1.
All right.
It is false. So we had said, we asked you 50% of retirees. That number is actually 69% say that they have 3 months of emergency savings.
Good.
So hopefully we'll get that number even higher.
All right.
All right, question 2. By 2030, all baby boomers born, so that's 1946 to 1964, will be 65 or older. This will mean what percentage of Americans will be full retirement age? I've got some options for you.
Okay.
A, 15%.
Okay.
B, 20%. C, 10%, or D, 25%.
All right. Well, one clue, Kelly, is that I know is that 10,000 people are turning 65 every single day right now, and will for several more years to come. So I'm going to say the 20% sounds like the most accurate one.
You are, and also just to put that into more perspective, that is 1 in 5 Americans. So then you can start to see how we talk about baby boomers and how there's going to be a lot more people and kind of what may happen to the retirement system with so many
A lot of people now in that season of life.
Right. So I'm sure you guys are kind of thinking about that and shifting your strategy and tactics toward helping this group of people, yeah?
We are geared up, knowing
and ready.
that they're coming, and we're ready to give them all the help they need.
Well, it's so funny because we talk about retirement planning and making sure that we have that plan and that strategy in place. So no surprise that you've been planning and strategizing for this as well.
Planning for the planning.
I know, right? How many more plans can we get? I don't know. Question 3. What was the original due date for federal income taxes? So April 1st, June 7th, February 15th or March 1st?
Well, it's interesting that April 1st is one of the options because you would think that that would be a very appropriate thing to do for April Fool's Day, right? You thought you had money?
Hey,
April
you
Fools.
don't joke.
Not anymore. Not as much as you thought you did. I think
It made the day a little less fun,
It
right?
probably made
So,
the day a
yeah.
little bit more. I'm glad they didn't choose that one. So I think is it March? Is that the March date?
Yeah, yep, it is March 1st. So coincidentally enough, they felt, hey,
We need some more time.
we need some more time.
Yeah.
Taxes
Help
are
the
getting
people
more
out.
confused.
Right.
Let's help people, give them additional, 45 days or so to figure all of this out. Some people still
Extend
it's
all the way
difficult.
to the
You
end of
gotta
the year.
extend that even more. But yeah, so it was changed to April 15th in 1955 when they decided, getting complicated, people needed a little bit more time.
They were
We
right.
thank them for that,
Good
I
call.
guess. Yeah. Question 4, true or false? Financial illiteracy cost Americans $225 billion in 2020.
Good question. I don't know exactly if I know the answer to that, but what I do know is that the lack of knowledge and the decisions that we make without being effectively informed, I do know can have really significant financial consequences to that.
But guess what? I'm not going to let you off that easy.
No?
Is it true or false?
Oh, that it is. Read it again. Read it again.
Okay, so true or false? Financial literacy cost Americans $225 billion in 2020.
I'm going to say it's true.
More.
It's more than that. Yeah. I knew you
more.
were going to get me there.
You're human. It's fine.
I knew it.
$415 billion is how much it costs.
Wow. Even
But
more
I mean,
than I
right? Like that
thought.
just goes again to show how much we stand to lose when it comes to just not being aware of the options available to us and what we need to know. in
I think it means
retirement.
people need us more than I even thought they did.
Right? So you have job security. People do need you. We all knew this already.
And there's
so,
money to be saved if
Yep.
we can get a good plan and learn what we need to learn to have a better outcome.
Would you like to do the honors?
Can
It just
I?
feels good.
At
Just
the-
toss them
at the
into the
same time.
wind. Yep, that's it. All
There we
right.
go.
Still to come, you're going to learn some of the simple steps you can take today to help you improve your situation. Because how useful is knowledge without action? Stay tuned.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wander later. Call for your free analysis today.
Thank you for joining us today on Retire Right with Clifton Ross. And Clifton, I always appreciate the time that we get together, and
I
it's a
enjoy
lot of
this
fun.
too. I think so.
Talking about retirement, and again, I hope that we're also priority number one, just sharing a lot of knowledge with the viewers out there and empowering them.
That's right. Yeah. Well, knowledge is power when it's applied. So I like to end the show today with just a couple of principles that I think are helpful to maintain confidence in retirement. Obviously, we talked about the big five, right? And having that checklist. But I think one of the key pieces in all of this is to just make sure that when you're thinking about retirement, having a plan for what you want your retirement to be long term. Some people don't think about it as much as maybe they don't know how much they didn't think about it until they're there. And now they're trying to think about what does life look like. So I always tell people, think about what you're retiring to, not just where you've retired from. The other thing is that we see a lot of people having concerns about retirement in the current environment and with all the issues going on with the federal debt and inflation. And if you're retiring, it can cause some bit of fear and trepidation. And there's some people who just kind of think, I don't know if I can pull it off. But the reality is that you might actually be better off than you think you are. So don't just assume that maybe you don't have enough. You might have enough. And if you don't, that's not the end of the story, because there's still things that you can do to get your retirement on track if you feel like maybe you're not as on track as you'd like to be. And that's where I think number 3 comes in, where it's helpful to have a conversation with a retirement planner who can walk you through what are the tools that are available to you to really enhance your retirement. What are the things that you're doing that I think are helpful, that will help you get the outcome you want? And then what are the things that maybe could be done to improve your results and improve your outcomes? Having a discussion with a professional advisor, I think, can go a long way to making sure that you're on track and then helping you get on track if you feel like maybe you've fallen off along the way.
Maybe some at home have not yet even talked to anybody and are curious, what is that process when you do have that conversation with someone with your team? Walk us through what that may look like for someone who's coming in for the first time.
Well, the process is designed to be just to make sure that you're really comfortable, first of all, right? You're talking about some maybe deeper things, things that you don't talk to everyone about. And so the first thing we want to do is just really start with just listening. And we start with listening to what is it that your desires are, your hopes are. Some people want to take family on vacations and take everybody with them. Some people want to have a quiet life. Some people want to have an active life and play pickleball 3 or 4 days a week. And then there's concerns about the economy, concerns about interest rates and taxes. And so the first thing we do is we just really listen to what that is and what those concerns are. And then we do an evaluation to see if what you're doing now, if that has you on the right trajectory to live the life that you want to live. And if that is the case, then we just affirm that. And maybe we give you some insight and support and guidance on how to keep that on track. And then in some of those conversations, it's really good we talked about it, because some of the things you want to do and aspire to do, there might be some work that needs to be done, right? And so we just have a really gentle conversation with, well, let's just explore what are those options? What can I do to maybe change that trajectory so that I can be on track? And then just really having a relationship beyond that, right? Because life is constantly changing, and there's a lot of exciting things that happen long-term, and there's challenges that happen long-term. So it's important to have a relationship that can guide you in real time based on whatever's happening to just keep you on track and make sure you're living the best life you possibly can in retirement.
And also celebrate with you when you have some of those wins, right?
That's the funnest thing to do.
I love that.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
cry with you when you can retire, right?
You guys wear a lot of hats, so I appreciate, as always, the time that you spent with us today. And for you at home, don't hesitate to act on what you've learned from today's show. For Clifton and the team at Guardian Resources, I'm Kelly Dame. Have a great week, and we will see you here next time.